Hello and welcome to yoga. My name is Diamond. Thank you for joining me this evening. I usually do these sunset classes in the park, outdoors with the sunset. However, it is 100 degrees outside, so here we are online. Tonight's class is going to be a tad bit shorter, maybe 45 minutes. Versus the usual hour I do, and we're going to be winding down for our evening, kind of settling from our days and trying to settle into our evenings and our weekends. You won't need any props for this practice. However, blocks are always handy. If you don't have blocks, you can use thick books, a folded blanket, or even some firm pillows. So to get started, I'm actually going to come to sit on a block. You could come seated on your knees. You could come seated with the legs crossed. However is comfortable for you. That's going to look different for everyone. And then from here, let's just shoulders over the hips, maybe shrug them up towards the ears, and then relax them together and down the back. Let your sit bones be heavy wherever they are. And then take a deep inhale in through the nose. And as you exhale, open the mouth and audibly sigh it out. Inhale through the nose once more. And as you exhale, open the mouth and sigh it out. Last time, take a really big inhale in. Fill the belly up with air. Feel the ribcage expand. And then exhale. Let something go. Begin to close down the eyes here. Start to bring one hand to the chest, one hand to the belly. And then just breathe normally. Notice the temperature of the room you're in. Notice any sounds you hear, how the ground feels beneath you. Notice any smells. And then as we keep breathing, bring your attention inward and ask yourself, how are you feeling right now? What is the quality of your breath and where do you feel it? Is there any tension in the body? Are there any thoughts that keep rising? Check in with yourself. Yoga is self-inquiry. And then slowly start to deepen your breath. Again, notice how the belly fills with air and the rib cage expands as you inhale, and then empty the body of air completely as you exhale. Try to even out the breaths, so your inhales are the same length as your exhales. And then maybe we add breath retention at the top after we inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 1. And then exhale for 4. Inhale for 4. Hold for 1. And then exhale for 4. I'll leave us here with the eyes closed for a few more moments. Focus on the breath. Start to settle in, ground down. What can you leave behind to make space for something new? Maybe take this moment to set an intention for this practice for the rest of your evening. What do you want to welcome into your life? How do you want to feel? How do you want to make others feel? Take 4 more breaths here, wherever you are. And then as you exhale one last time. Begin to bat the eyelashes open. And then release the hands, maybe shake through the wrists. And let's rotate through the wrists, taking circles in one direction. And then the other. And then to stretch through the wrists a little bit more, let's bring, if you aren't already on your knees, maybe we move into that position just so we can come forward to stretch the wrists. We're going to want to bring the palms to the ground, but flip the fingers so they are facing us. And then just press the palms into the ground. You can walk the hands out. And, oops, sorry, Luna. You can walk the hands out a little bit further. You could play around with lifting the hips and lowering them to notice how the intensity shifts in this stretch. Take one more breath here. And then we're going to flip the hands. So the backs of the hands are going to come to the ground. And then we'll stretch the other way. This can be kind of intense. So if you want to do one hand at a time, a lot of the times that's more comfortable to me. But if it feels good to you, definitely do both. Be mindful. Again, shift forward and behind to make sure you're not putting too much pressure on the wrist. You shouldn't feel any pinching. You shouldn't feel any pain. Let's take a few more breaths. And then come back upright. We're simply just going to drop the chin to the chest and then knock the ears over the shoulders as we exhale. Inhaling through center, then exhaling to the other side. Gently releasing through the neck. Maybe we start to complete the circles. Going one direction, making sure to go the opposite. And then bring the body back upright, and we're actually going to come forward onto an all fours position. I'm just going to turn so you can see a little bit better. And then we're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders. The knees are going to come underneath the hips. And then we can keep the toes tucked here or untuck them. Find a flat back. And press the ground away from you. And then as we inhale, drop the belly and open through the chest as our gaze shifts upward. Take cow pose. As you exhale, pull the belly button into the spine, bring the chin to the chest, and take cat pose. We're going to repeat through these motions following the breath, and then we'll add on a little flow here. Inhale to cow once more. This time, tuck your toes under if they aren't already. And we're going to shift the hips back, kind of like we're dropping into child's pose, but maybe not quite all the way. The hands can walk up forward maybe about an inch, and then we can start to bring the forehead down. From here, we're going to press into the hands, press into the toes, start to engage through the core of the body, and then we're going to lift the hips up towards the sky and start to straighten the legs into a downward facing dog. This is our first dog, so maybe we walk the hands out further, out wider, hip distance. Maybe bend one knee and then the other. The knees can stay bent here, but we want to, as we breathe, start to straighten through the legs and encourage the heels down towards the mat. Breathe here. And then as we inhale, we're going to roll the body forward. The knees are going to come down to kiss the ground, and then we'll open up our chest into cat or cow pose once more. As we exhale, the hips are going to shift back, and this is our flow, down into child's pose. As you inhale, shift forward to untuck the toes if they aren't already. And then as you exhale, lift the hips up to the sky. Take a downward facing dog. Inhale, come back down through cow pose. Follow this now with your own breath. Exhaling through child's pose. Inhale, shift forward. And then exhale, lift the hips up into a downward dog. Take this at your own pace now. We'll do this about 3 more times. Slow down if that feels good to you, or if you like swifter movement, you have a little bit more energy, maybe take that route. Maybe as you come forward into the cow, you start to release the hips down to this cobra variation before we press back into child's pose. But just keep breathing either way. I think we did 3. Let's do 1 more because I wasn't counting. And then from this down dog here, we're going to start to shift the body forward into plank, but lower the knees here. And we'll come into our chaturanga practice, taking knees, chest, chin as a preparation for a full chaturanga. So again, the hands are underneath the shoulders. And then we're going to start to come forward, open up the throat, bring the chin a little bit forward, and then slowly start to also lower our chest to the ground. And then our chin is going to come to the ground. Our elbows are going to squeeze together. They should be under your shoulders, maybe even slightly back towards the top of the rib cage here. And this will be our practice for chaturanga. As we start to come forward and unroll the toes, the upper body is going to lift up as the pelvis presses into the ground. And here we are in baby cobra. We don't need to be pressing the ground away from us and muscling ourselves into the pose. It could be a simple movement. Make sure you're lifting from the chest. Maybe you hover the hands here just to make sure that you are using those back muscles to give you that lift. Really plant the tops of the feet and the pelvis into the ground. Take 1 more breath and then release the forehead back to the ground. We'll take this 2 more times just so we can really get a hang of it. Again, elbows squeeze together here, and then inhale, lift the upper body up. Maybe we come a little bit higher, maybe we don't. It's all about the sensation and less about what it looks like. As you exhale, drop the forehead back down to the ground. Prepare, and as you inhale, scoop the body up. Maybe you come up a little bit higher. And then slowly lower down. We're just going to shift the body back into this child's pose. And then from here, we're going to roll the body up, dragging the hands back to the knees. And then we're going to come to sit upright in this kneeling position once more. From here, we're going to open up through the elbows. So again, the shoulder blades are going to squeeze together. Elbows are going to come wide. You're making a goalpost with the arms here. You can turn so you can see me a little bit better. And then we're going to come into eagle arms. We'll take a few variations. So we can either do the traditional, we're going to take the right arm and it's going to cross underneath the left. And the backs of the hands are going to press together here. If this feels good to you, you can stay here. If not, you can go a little bit further and continue to wrap the hands so the palms are touching. And then we're here with the eagle arms. If this is too much altogether and it's painful and your body doesn't like that, still cross the right arm underneath the left, but we're gonna bring the hands to the shoulders here. So find what works with your body. I'm gonna take this position. We're going to want to lift the elbows so they're parallel with the shoulders here, right? You're pressing the hands away from the face. And there's a nice lift here in the upper body. You should feel a nice stretch through the shoulders and the back body. And breathe here. Deep, even breaths. If you can't take deep breaths, maybe back off a little bit. Try a different position. Unwrap the arms. We'll be here for a few more moments. Either take this eagle arms in stillness with the breath, still pressing the arms away from the body, lifting them up towards the sky almost. Or we can start to find movement. As we inhale, we're going to lift the elbows even more and slightly arch through the back as we look up, opening through the throat. And as you exhale, start to cave through the body, taking these cat-cow motions once more with the arms bound. Whatever you choose, I just threw out a lot of options. Pick one and repeat for 3 more breaths. And then on your last breath, we're going to open the arms wide, unravel as we inhale. And then we're just going to cross the arms so the left arm comes underneath the right, and we'll repeat on the other side. So if you grabbed the shoulders, maybe repeat there. If not, let's bring the backs of the hands together, or maybe the front, the palms touch. We're going to lift the elbows up a little bit higher so they're in line with the shoulders. And then the hands are pressing away from the face. Start to look up. Breathe here, or start to add these cat-cow-like motions with your breath. Let's take 5 rounds of breath here. And then after your last breath, release the hands. The left hand's going to come to the outside of the right knee. Right hand's going to come behind, twist to the right, look over the right shoulder. As you inhale, lengthen up through the spine. As you exhale, continue twisting. Inhale back through center, twist to the other side. And then release. From here, we're going to come forward, back onto the palms. This time, we're going to open up the knees a little bit wider. And then we're going to thread the needle to get a little bit deeper into the shoulders. We're going to inhale, open the arm up towards the sky. The left hand is firmly planted down below you. As you exhale, we're going to kind of scoop the right arm underneath the left and start to twist, and then inhale, open the body back up. Again, going with nice fluid motions here, following the breath. One more time. And this time, as you inhale up to the sky, we're going to come down once more, but we're actually going to bring the back of the hand and the shoulder to the ground along with the right ear. This left hand can stay planted in front of the face, or you could begin to walk it forward. Whichever feels good to you. We'll be here for a few breaths. If your hips are starting to lean too far over to one side or the other, try to keep them square. If the left hand is extended, walk it back in towards the body. Press into the left hand and begin to unravel the body, and then we will repeat on the other side. From here, we're just going to lift the left arm up towards the sky, and then continue as we did on the other side. Exhaling, reaching the left arm through. Inhaling, reaching up to the sky. Exhale, sweeping it under. 2 more times. And then on this last one, we are going to actually come
to the ground, left ear, left shoulder, back of the left hand. We're going to stay here, breathing, or we're going to extend the right arm out long. And breathe. Two more breaths. Make sure you're breathing deeply, exhaling completely. And then slowly walk that right hand back in if you stretched it out long. Press yourself back up to unravel. And then bring the palms back down. We're just going to come on to our bottoms and off of the hands now. So just make your way to a seated position. Bring the legs out in front of you. And then we'll take Janusarsasana on both sides. So we're going to keep the left leg extended out long. Let's walk this right knee in towards the body. And then we're just going to let the right knee fall away as we bring the inside of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. Maybe we move the fleshy part of the buttocks away so the sit bones can firmly plant down into the ground. And then we'll lift up on an inhale, find length, and then fold over, hinging from the hips. And then coming to grab the shin, the ankle, or the foot. Try folding with a flat back. So if that means the fold stops here, then that's totally fine. But maybe we can continue reaching forward. This knee is like shining down towards the ground. I was told that this pose is called head to knee pose, the English translation. But I was told that we interpret it wrong, and we a lot of the times think I need to bring my forehead to my left knee. But I was told by one of my teachers that the correct interpretation would be to try to shine this knee, the head of the knee pose, not head to knee. So the idea would be to focus on the head of the knee and try to kind of make it feel like it's pulling down towards the earth. So maybe practice that as you come into this fold. If that was a mouthful for you, then just do what feels good in the body. Take a few more breaths here. Maybe kiss your assistant. And then on your next inhale, walk the upper body back up. From here, we're going to switch the legs. So the right leg is going to come out long. And then the inside of the left foot is going to come to the inside of the right thigh as the left knee falls away and shines toward the floor, moving the fleshy part of the buttocks away. And then we're going to inhale, lift the body up, and then hinge forward to grab the shin, the ankle, the foot. The hands can catch in front of the foot, but again, we want a flat back here. We don't want to be rounding into this pose, so if that's the case, walk yourself back up a little bit, and then explore with finding length as you inhale, and then extending forward as you exhale. Crown of the left knee shining down. Two more breaths wherever you are. And slowly walk the upper body back up. This time, bring the legs out in front of you. And then we're going to bring the bottoms of the feet to the ground and then maybe start to shift the knees side to side, allowing your bottom to scoot towards the front of your mat. You should feel like you're falling, and we're going to make our way to our forearms and down to our backs. If this doesn't work for you and it feels awkward, we're just going to come to lay down. But if not, I feel like the motions feel nice in the legs. And this windshield wiper motion often feels good at the end of the day. I spend a lot of my days sitting at a desk, so I know these movements feel nice. From here, we're going to take Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined bound angle pose. We're going to keep the knees wide here, and the bottoms of the feet are going to come together. The legs should be in a diamond shape. The feet can be up closer to the body. If this is uncomfortable to you, try pressing the feet away. If this is still uncomfortable to you, then you could try placing pillows or blocks or blankets underneath the knees. If this doesn't work for you at all, bring the feet up, mat distance apart, and then just knock them inwards. Do the opposite of us. And we'll be here for a few breaths. So really starting to slow down here. Reconnect with the breath. Maybe reconnect with the intention you set. And again, check in. Notice how you're feeling right now. Notice the quality of your breath. Notice where your mind goes. We'll start to hold these poses a little bit longer. Now that we've moved around a little bit, maybe start to settle. And then on your next inhale, take the hands to the knees. Use them to lift the knees back together. And then bring the knees in towards the chest. Become a little ball. Start to hug the knees. Find wind relieving pose here. Maybe we rock side to side. Maybe we find stillness. Find what works for you. Breathe deep into the belly. And exhale completely. Keep the right leg where it is and start to extend the left leg out long. Start to pull the right knee into the chest. Maybe we rock it side to side. And then start to extend through the right leg, lifting it up towards the sky. It doesn't need to be straight. You can keep a bend. Your hands can come behind the thigh. If you want a little bit more, maybe slide it up towards the calf, the ankle, the foot. If you have a strap or a towel or a blanket, you can wrap it around the foot to kind of bring the foot closer, but you can always put a bend through the knees. So either way, maybe start to flex and point through the foot. And then we're going to start to open through this leg. So we're going to want to reach for the big toe with the peace fingers, or you can reach for the outside of the foot. Again, you can do this with the knee bent if you would like, or even still with the knee into the chest. But we're going to inhale, extend, and then as we exhale, this left hip is going to be heavy, and then we're going to start to open up the right leg so it falls out wide. Still kind of pulling it up towards the face, but allowing it to fall open. If you start to notice the left hip come up, just so this right leg can come back to the ground, we need to come back and keep both hips firmly planted. Sometimes I like to take the hand to the hip to make sure I'm pressing down, and then breathe here. It doesn't have to be far. The foot doesn't have to come all the way to the ground. Again, you can be bent. Whichever level you chose, let's take 3 more breaths. And then engage the core. So pull the belly button to the spine to bring the leg back towards the center. And then we're going to let go of the foot, if the foot is in hand, or the leg, bend through the right knee, and then continue to twist the knee over to the left side of the mat now. Now the right shoulder is heavy into the ground. The same way we didn't want the hip to roll up, we don't want the shoulder coming up, just so we can get further into this twist. The benefit is when you keep the shoulders firmly planted on the ground and then work from here. If this is too much, the knees can come together in this twist. Or if you'd like a little bit more, you can straighten this right leg. There is a wall in my way, so I can't do so too much. But find a level that feels good. Breathe into the navel center, taking full deep breaths. Again, if you cannot take full, deep, even breaths, try to come out a little bit until you can, and then work there. 2 more breaths. And then come back to center. We're just going to switch the legs. So the right leg's going to come out long. I thought somebody wooed at me, but it was the dog. The left knee is going to come into the chest. The right leg's going to come out long. And then just breathe here. Or start to extend through that left leg. Grab the back of the thigh. Maybe move the hands up towards the calf. Grab the foot. Both sides may be different. So just be aware of that, but do not judge yourself for that. And then from here, grab the big toe with the peace fingers, the foot, or again, use a strap. Maybe even grab onto the pant leg if you don't have anything next to you. And then as you exhale, allow this left leg to fall open, still kind of pulling it upwards and out. But this right hip is heavy. Maybe the right hand comes to the hip to make sure it doesn't lift. And then breathe. You can keep a bend in the leg if that feels good. And then slowly come back up through center, bend through the left knee, and then twist it over to the right side of the body. Left shoulder is heavy. Maybe the left arm comes out long. Gaze can be up or towards the left fingertips. Take a few more deep breaths into the belly. And then inhale, come back through center. Bring both knees back in towards the chest this time. Let's take some circles with the knees. Pushing them away, out and around, back in. And then reverse the direction of your circles. Maybe we find stillness, rock side to side. We can also take a happy baby by kicking the feet up into the hands, pulling the feet down towards us, encouraging the thighs down towards the ground. Back is flat. And take out any last few movements that you need. If this feels good to you, maybe stay here. Maybe rock side to side. Come back into that Supta Baddha Konasana. Maybe take a twist one more time. Choose your own adventure just for this last part. Truly find what feels good to you in your body in this moment. And then we'll all meet with our limbs extended in Shavasana or corpse pose. Let's bring the palms to face up towards the ceiling. Take up space. Really spread the legs, spread the arms out, and begin to close down the eyes. Relaxing through the entire body. allowing yourself to be heavy and sink into the ground beneath you. Feel the earth pressing back up against you, holding you in place. Relax the skin of the forehead, the tongue inside the mouth. Relax the jaw. Relax all the fingers and toes. Soften through the throat, the chest, the belly, the shoulders. And once more, turn inward towards your breath. In through the nose and out through the nose. I'll leave us here for a few moments to rest, to let the energy in our bodies settle. Thoughts may arise as we sit here. Simply notice them, let them pass. Do not be discouraged by your distractions. And then just bring your attention always back to the breath. Let that be your anchor. We'll be here for a few more moments. Slowly start to deepen the breath. Bring the attention back to the physical body. Maybe start to wiggle through the toes. Trace the fingertips with the thumb. Start to bring these motions through to the wrist and the ankles. Stretch the arms up above you, the feet down below you. And then keeping the eyes closed, bring the knees into the chest and begin to roll over onto your right side of your body. Coming into a fetal position, maybe using the right hand underneath the head as the pillow. And just breathe here. Notice how you feel. Notice any space you've created. Notice what comes to mind. Notice what does not. And then again, keeping the eyes closed down, use the upper body to press, or the hands, to press the upper body back up into a seated position. Any seated position that's comfortable to you. Just meet with the spine straight. The hands can come into the lap. Again, bring the shoulders up towards the ears and then relax them down and away. Take a few
last moments here to yourself before we continue on with the rest of our evenings, the rest of our weekends. Offer yourself some gratitude for showing up, getting on your mat, and moving your body today. And then let's take the biggest breath we've taken in all evening. Reach the arms up to the sky as you do. And then as you exhale, bring the hands to heart center and open the eyes. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me this evening. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Luna, our very special assistant. She's not the best at yoga, but she definitely tries. So I will see you guys next Friday. We will continue sunset yoga streams until the weather cools down, and then hopefully we can meet again in person soon. So yeah, have a great weekend. Have a good evening.